Good morning. Welcome to Attorney Commander J.R. Glapohkpa Chesson talk show on this beautiful Monday morning, August the 28th, 2023. Can you imagine? August is gone. Right now we have 2 more days and a wake up, and August is gone. But what is happening with our election? We hope that all that is going on, we still have peace and stability in our nation. We got to be mindful that we have an obligation to maintain the peace during this election. Okay? And as Liberia moves forward, we hope that our nation will grow to be a nation of justice, a nation governed by laws and the rule of law, so that what we have experienced in our distant and near past will not repeat itself in our nation. In spite of all that is going on, we still have in our midst elements of destruction and evil that have brought our country to where it is today and still want to maintain their dominance over our country, which we cannot allow. And we must start to punish them. It is sad that in all that has happened, we have leaders that we still have to punish. We have been through a civil war. We have been through coup d'etats. And the very things that we punish our past leaders for, and many Liberians have died for, are the things that are being repeated today, even worse than ever before. How can we handle this? How can we change our nation when every time we do positive things, there are people that come that pull us back down with negativity, far beyond what we were in the initial steps? How can we ever progress and advance? No. This is the source of destruction in our country. That's the source of destruction in our country. This woman supposed to be the element of change and positive direction in our country. That despite her actions on her tour, but many of us turned the other way when she became president in 2006. We welcome her. I never supported this woman because of her deceitful ways. Talbot brought her into Liberian society prominently. We didn't know about Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Yeah, the people she wasn't nobody in our country. Talbot brought this woman. He made her minister. When she became minister, that's when our country started experiencing the evils of this woman, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. This woman served under Talbot. She betrayed Talbot. She participated in all the negativity that were against Talbot as Minister of Finance. When she left there, she didn't stop there. She maintained her evil attitude and practice in our society, aligning with all the corrupt people that she had aligned with from the time she was finance minister, Barker, Matthew, and all of them. She didn't know who to align with. She was with people there 1 minute, she was with Fumble the next minute, she was with Barker. but she never maintained any real allegiance to them. She just flirted with them because she knew all along she didn't want to be a part of them. She had her own secret agenda to be president of Liberia. That's when she won the senatorial seat on the door. She refused to accept it. Joe wanted to punish her. She flipped and ran. So these are the same people we're dealing with time and time again in our society, man. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is no different from Simon Doe or George Weah. She started a war, and I am living proof of that. Because Elmer Johnson tried to recruit me to join them. And the reason why I did not join Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf them was because when he told me who was supporting it, who was the spearheading all of this, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and Charles Taylor, they were public enemies to me. These people have betrayed our country. Charles Taylor came from nowhere in America with EULA and went straight to Liberia and just sat at the GSA, the General Services Agency, and declared himself the General Director. And that was where most of the money for government was flowing to purchase supplies for the government. So he knew the money was there, and he just went there and took over and said he was taking over that position. And nobody talked. Nobody talked. And he stayed there and stole our wealth with Simon Doe until Doe accused him of stealing money. And he wanted to get rid of Doe. He joined Ellen them to get rid of Doe, and Doe accused him of stealing money and wanted to jail him. He ran away and came to America. That's how that whole saga started with Charles Taylor and what a man named Sammy Doe. So these people betrayed our country, man. They deceive us. And for since 1980, when they killed Tubber to today, we're suffering from the ills of these people. And here is Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. This woman came to power in 2006. We put everything aside to have this woman elected as president of our country. We went to welcome her, giving her an olive branch of peace and say, look, we give you an olive branch of peace. Let's start over. You're president now. Let's build our country. This woman came with the same negative attitude of vengeance and vindictiveness. You know? So she gets in there. The first thing she does is she knows we have no money. She knows our country is one of the poorest nations in the world. She's coming to bring money to our country. Then the money she brings into our country, she take it and use it to hire people at the price of $15,000 to work for our government and above. She didn't even test the people's loyalty or patriotism to our nation. We get all this money. She just started giving it out, giving people $15,000. That was the minimum pay for government officials. $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. How you pay people like that? Pray tell me, my people, how you pay people like that? You say you're coming to change our country. You're coming to make our country better. You even test the Liberian patriotism, the patriotism we have among us, the patriotism we have among us, patriots we have among us. You will test them. You will come and call people home to work. See who will come home to work first. You jump up and start offering people $15,000, $20,000 to come home to work. How you do that? That in itself is a destruction of our economy. You come have an issue off the bat and start giving people $15,000. So we don't know who are the real patriots of our country. We don't want to know. You didn't come asking for patriots to return home, knowing that we don't have money, that our nation is totally destroyed, and you destroyed it. You brought all this war upon us. Claire Johnson, Emma Johnson told me that you and Charles Taylor and Famula were the people that spearheaded all of this. And instead of looking for patriots to come help you build our nation, you start calling people and giving them BP money. Urubangi, Ola Kerry, and all these people. What have they done for our country? What did these people do for our nation? They haven't done shit. We started from all over again. All the things, the foundation they laid, these people finished destroying it, or mismanaging it, or breaking it down. And we got to start from scratch to build our country again. Why we got to go through this thing over and over and over? This is the only country we got. Why we don't have patriots, man? Why everybody come into the leadership of our country, come there for me? Why? Why? You mean the things we learn in school don't mean shit to us? We just go to school for nothing and we come out to be rogues? To say we're working for the people and we're working for ourselves? What is all this mess about, man? This shit is not real. All this deceitfulness, all these lies, all this treasure. Look at Africa today. Africa is screwed because our leadership structure is screwed. We got one group of Africans wearing foreign wigs like bitches. We got the other groups who don't know whether they're going or coming. Now they're fighting the French because they're tired of being robbed. And our poor little Liberia, are we independent? Are we free? My pa didn't sit down there and let foreigners come and send soldiers to overthrow them. Huh? Now, the same man that brought Joe, they got another man to overthrow him from his own indigenous tribal group. Where has our country gone and is still going? Where? I just want to know where. Where? And the person behind all of this too is the same witch that has been there forever. We need to save our country. We need patriots to rise up. We cannot continue to let people steal from our nation, man. Come on, my people. Who are we? Are we really patriots of this nation? We don't own nothing, man. We everything. Other people got to come save us. Other people got to come build our nation. Other people got to come give us life. Other people got to come give us what we want. Who are we? Who are we? I want to know this shit. Because the more I see my people, the more I know we are lost. We're no different from the Ghanaians and French people. We might as well be wearing our part of wigs too. Where my damn wig? Give me my damn wig. I didn't put my wig on my hair too. I was supposed to be wearing that shit too. Our mentalities are screwed. And we can't continue with this screwed mentality and think that we build our nation. How will we build our nation? We can't build our nation. So we either want to decide whether we're going to have one world nation that is civilized, which is the Western world, and all of us will be part of that world, and Africa will just be used for resources. We got to decide. Because the way we live now, our nation is just used for resources for the big world. Because that's why our leaders compromise everything. They sell everything. We have nothing for ourselves. So where are we standing in all of this? What's the path for all of us in all of this? Is there any hope for us in our country and our people? I really need to know all of this. You see? Because we can come here and talk, act like Liberia is a functioning society. Our country is not a functioning society. Look at all the campaigning going on. Look at all the political parties involved. Everybody's there, and we're still anticipating this government rigging the election. We still, all the campaigning we're doing, all the money we're spending, people are still talking about how this government has planned to rig the election. Is that true? Is that real? These are the things we as Liberian people need to address. We as Liberian people need to show that we have interest in our country, in what is going on. Because we can't continue to live as we are. We can't. We can't. We can't. Because we know that our country is not a wholesome, functioning society. We don't. Everything is broken down in our society. Our lives are troubled. Besides the economic problem, we face serious health issues every day. Every day. Our pregnant women, our young children, our medical situation in the country, everything is terrible. We can't go on like this. We can't go on like this. Then in our midst, we have people that are criminals. They let our nation rip our country off, and they still want to do it. How can we continue to exist as a nation when we have all these negativities confronting us? How can we? It's a problem. It's a problem. And we have to understand that. It's a problem. And we got to face it. These people who have corrupted our nation, who have brought our country and people to disrepute, cannot just think that they will die and get away with it. No, they got to confront justice. They got to meet with justice. What Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf did to us, it made me question whether the woman loved Liberia or she wanted to revenge against what the Congo people did in our country. So she made up her mind to destroy everything. Because Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is a very wicked woman. From what I see, she's a wicked old woman, and she needs to be punished. She needs to be severely punished. And God forbid I get her in my hands. I will punish her bad. And God don't want that, maybe. But if God wants that, the woman gonna die just now. We'll catch her and put her in jail. She'll die in jail. Where she'll be in the next life. She'll be in jail. You think you kill Torba and all the people and you're going to die and they will not punish you? They're waiting for you. If there's an afterlife, they are waiting for you, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. You destroy our country. You destroy everything our people built. You brought a war. That war didn't have to come in our country. We could have avoided that war. We could have skipped that war. But you brought it. You say you're going to destroy the mansion in 3 days and rebuild it. You're not Jesus Christ. Look at the day our mansion is still a house of shit. You didn't rebuild it. You didn't rebuild it. You destroy our country. Now you're sitting there talking about you want the women to play a role in it. The women who were in the Civil War. You can't count yourself among the women. You're a murderer. You brought this war, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, and the Liberian people right now, they're ignoring it. But in the future, we're going to hold you accountable for what happened to our country. Because not only did you destroy the lives and livelihood of our people, you brought up a phone in our country to lead it and hide your evil that you have done to us. And it's not going to be hidden. It's not. You can't lie to us and tell us. You see, this is deceitfulness. This woman never graduated from Harvard University. Everybody been saying that Harvard graduate. She never corrected us. She never one day came on and said, I did not graduate from Harvard. I only got a certificate. She sat down and kept silent and had us calling her a Harvard graduate because we didn't know any better. Not knowing that evil bitch got a certificate only from Harvard. She ain't got no degree. But she lied to us. Not once did I hear Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf say, I did not graduate from Harvard, I only did a certificate course. Not once did I hear her. So when you do like that, and you try to mislead and deceive us, how can we then? How can we then believe anything you say? Only a few people can do that. But when I found out that the woman only had a certificate from Harvard, and I one of the people been saying she got a Harvard degree, and this woman never corrected us. Never corrected us. You see how our people deceitful? You see how deceitful that just run through the Liberian society and everywhere? This is not right. It is not right. And that's why we got to change our society, my people. From the onset, our society is corrupt. It is a deceitful, deceptive group of people. We can't continue on this trend. This is the Tottenham era of Liberia. We got to change that era into a new leadership era that is profound and great. That era of corruption and lies and deceitfulness and backstabbing, all that, it's gone. It's gone. That Tottenham Tower door era, all of that shit is gone. We can't do it under this new era. We can't do it. This is the era of my watch. This is the era of Liberia being under the watch of J. Rodney Chesson. And if my people listen to me, we'll be on the right path. I care about being leader. Check my money. I care about being leader. Let other people be president. I'm going to live in Liberia. If I'm telling the truth, and the truth will help me in Liberia, I ain't coming to Liberia. What am I coming to Liberia for? I'm in my 60s. I got all kind of sicknesses. What am I coming to Liberia for? They can't treat me in Liberia. If I come to Liberia, every 2, 3, 4 months, I got to come to America for treatment to go back to Liberia. I can't stay in Liberia. Nothing in Liberia for me. The same thing I wonder how the people in Liberia are living. That our mortality rate is so high. When you don't have good healthcare system in a country, life expectancy is not good. It's not good. It be low standard. It be low standard. So we don't know what the life expectancy, what, 50 years old, 60-year-old, the life expectancy in Liberia now. We don't know. But how can we live like that? We know situation is terrible in our country. We know no health care. We know no good facilities in Liberia for sick people, for the elderly, for young sick children. We don't have these facilities. All our money being siphoned or stolen or misused, misapplied. Where do we stand as a nation of people? Where do we stand? This is a challenge for all of us. This is the challenge for all of us. Where do we stand? How can we change our nation? What are our responsibilities as citizens of this great nation? Liberia needs her patriots. Liberia needs her loyalists. Liberia needs her people who love her nation beyond loving themselves. Nothing wrong with loving yourselves, but when you take an oath to perform a duty that requires you to place the society before you, the interests of the society above your personal interests, you got to do it. That does not mean that your interest is separate from the collective interest. No, your interest is part of that interest too. But what makes it bad when we try to take our interest and put it above the interest that is collective. Then we move into a realm that is anti-government, that is anti-good governance, that is anti-good leadership. We move into a realm of what we call selfishness, disregard for law and order, disregard for your duties and responsibility, dereliction of duty. That's the era we move into. And we cannot continue as Liberian patriots to see and have our leaders behave in such manner. We can't. That is not good for our democracy. The foundation of our democracy rests on Liberian people honoring our laws, honoring our signed commitment, signed document of trust, a fiduciary document, a document that places us in a different light. That's why I keep telling you people, our Constitution is not a simple document. It is not an ordinary document of any legal significance. It's not. Our Constitution and law and supreme law is the only law that all Liberians above the age of 18 or who have reached the age of majority, which is maturity, must sign before that law becomes law. That's the only law in all of our history in all our nation, in all of the domiciliary. That means our living quarters, our abodes. Those are the laws that we, the people, sign into law. Not the legislature, not the city council, not any other body with regulative authority, but we, the people. That's why that Constitution, in its preamble, it presents itself as a document that we, the people, sign. We, the people, made the decision to do this. That's why the preamble is a significant part of our Constitution, to let the world know that this document is a collective document or representation of the dreams, aspirations, desires, and hopes of all Liberian people. Because that is the document from which our nation was derived, from which our society grew, from which our nation is governed. Our Constitution makes us whole, makes us strong, makes us a united people and patriots of one nation. That's why when we see things going wrong in our society, when we have laws that say these things are supposed to be protected, and we join other people and destroy them and say, government property, we are hurting ourselves. Because every time government has to replenish or replace those things we break, it's taken from somewhere else. That money is taken from somewhere else that should be helping our people. So that's why it is important that when our government has property, we, the people, protect that property. Ensure that whoever driving it, whoever using it, are accountable for it. If in the future, we're going to have a report desk where the public can call and report drivers and government vehicles being misused, and we'll pursue it on the spot and send police there to arrest that person and take that car from them. They will not work for government no more. This is the kind of measure of responsibility and accountability that we need in our country. All of us are responsible to protect our government institutions, our government properties and supplies and demands. We are supposed to protect it as loyal and patriotic citizens of Liberia. And when we see people misusing it, abusing it, trying to destroy it, it's our duty to report it. To report it. And we gotta feel proud about it. Because our government can't afford it. Our people cannot afford it. Whatever little we have, we must preserve it with dignity and pride, so that whatever little we have, we'll not spend it to replenish things. We spend it to continue the process of uplifting our people in many different ways we can. There are so many things out there that our people need and the money for them. And we as Liberian leaders must become conscious of that fact, and conscious of the fact that our duties and responsibilities are placed upon us to ensure that there is continuity, fairness, and justice. So, when we stand up as patriots and help our government grow, that's helping the government. Whatever we do, that's helping our government, that's helping our society. Yeah, we must say, oh, you're a snitch, you're this. No, not if you're a patriot. Now, if you see people misusing government property, you report it. You can't be a snitch. How you be a snitch when you putting the people to present waste, to present destruction of government property? When you are a patriot and are responsible just like any other Liberian to ensure that our property is sealed and protected and not misused and abused. So how will you be a snitch? You can't be a snitch because of your property. You are a Liberian. The government of Liberia is you. Without you, our government cannot function effectively. You pay taxes that enables the government to buy all the things that government need and do all the things that government needs to do. So how can you be a snitch? You cannot be a snitch when you're seeking your own interests, when you try to mitigate your own expenses. Because when you get taxed according to how government needs money, how government allocates everybody collective input in government, the less destructive materials we have, the less money government got to dish out to replenishing all supplies. So it's our duty as patriots to help our government. That's why in the future we have an agency in the GSA strictly for waste, where people will report government vehicles being driven bad, being misused and abused, being used to do other things other than government duties. Once those calls come in, police will follow those calls. And we have standards for people who try to misuse those lines and lie and bring other people down. We have punishment for them too. So it's a two-way street. We got to protect our country. We got to protect everything that Liberia owns. And we got to punish those who use the system of reporting these people to go after other people's family and hurt them. We have punishment for them too. When we catch them, they will never pay with telephone again to call anybody. But these are the measures and standards that we must put in place in our nation. And we can't put it in place if we don't have patriots. Because what is a patriot? How does a patriot differ from ordinary Liberian? I told you in many different ways. Not only is a patriot a person who gives their allegiance and loyalty to the country. A patriot is a person who also believes in what the country stands for. If you don't believe it, you will not pursue it like it's an interest of yours. Like I told you, I worked in correction for many years. I didn't just go there to work. I believe in what I was doing could help society, could change society. I believe in punishing people who do wrong so that our society can be better and grow. You see, I also believe that because you commit a crime, your whole life has not ended. I believe you can be rehabilitated if you want to be rehabilitated. But that's something that got to be a personal decision you have to make. I can't make it for you. I can provide all the means to help you make it if you're sincere and want to change or be rehabilitated. You can do that. But you got to have that interest in you to do that. We can teach you all the things. If you're not interested in being rehabilitated, it will not happen. So how do we build that interest? Maybe it doesn't come through punishment alone. It comes through counseling. It comes through direction and redirection, interests. All of those kind of things add to our rehabilitation. And those are things I believe in too. But I also know that There are certain people, no amount of rehabilitation can help them because their minds cannot be rehabilitated. Their minds. That's the first step of rehabilitation. Some people tell you the first step of AA program is to admit that you're a drinker, that you got a problem. The same thing with every other thing. It's a mental process. You have to know you need help and be ready for that help before you can accept it wholeheartedly. If not, you're not accepted. You're not thinking real. You think it's a joke or a waste of time. So everything starts with the mind. The same thing with Liberian people. If we must change our country, it gotta come from here. We all gotta admit that our country needs changing. We all gotta admit that the way our country is today is not the right way. We gotta admit that our country can be better if we have better leaders. We gotta admit that we as Liberians must have a different perspective and view of our country and our people for us to be able to work together and change our country. If we have that tribal view, that inferiority view, when you think about tribe, you're inferior to real Liberians. Real Liberians don't think tribe. We think nation. And that will make us different. The people who just think tribe, they are inferior to us. And that's why we try to lift the minds of all Liberians up so we can know, yes, we got tribe. But when it comes to our nation, it's not about tribe. It's about nation. It's about how we perceive ourselves as Liberians, not as Basso or Gio or Manu. So that's a different perception. And what I mean by perception is a mental process. You perceive it not with your eyes, but your mind's eye. Your mind got eye, and your mind can see the connection. They call it the nexus. You can never connect it. Your eye gotta see it. Just like Christianity. If you don't understand the mystery of how Jesus Christ connects with God, you will never have that sense of belief because you can't connect it. You got to connect Jesus Christ with the divine. And how we connect it through the Holy Trinity. Okay? So if you understand that connection, your acceptance of Jesus Christ as the Son of the living God is far easier. It's far better because it connects. And you're going to be able to connect it in your mind to accept it. You see, most of the time the Pentecostal church talk about Jesus Christ, but they don't tell us how to connect to Jesus. You got to connect Jesus to the divine. Jesus Christ is not alone. And this is what the Pentecostal church is not teaching people. We say Jesus is God, Jesus is God. I pray to Jesus. Yes, Jesus is God. Jesus is superior. He's the God of humanity. He loves us. That's why he came to the earth to learn about us, to learn the intricate things about us. So he make judgment. He make judgment as an understanding God. He is already a fair God, but he may not understand all the intricacies of humanity. And that's why he came to the earth to learn those things. You see? To learn how when you're born, people can hate you, people can love you, despite the same reason that people hating you for, people can love you for those same reasons. Those are the mysteries of this world. You don't understand why those things happen, but they happen. Those are things we can't explain, but they happen. Is that God? Is that Jesus Christ? So Jesus came to learn those intricate things. You see, because God judged us by his rule. Thou shalt not steal. Whether you steal because you're hungry or you steal because your mind died and you got nobody, God does not care. Thou shalt not steal. You got the rule. But Jesus came to bring compassion to the law, to bring equity to the law. You see, to mitigate or extenuate the law. That's what Jesus brought. You can mitigate the law based on love, based on charity, kindness of heart, understanding the plight of the people. There are many reasons you can have a kind heart or soft heart on the rigidity of the law. And that's what Jesus came to bring. So he could learn all the intricate, secret reasons why people do things they do. So when he judges you, he can judge you with total fairness and honesty. Not because he's God, not because he's superior, but because he's a God who loves humanity and understands our plight, our wants, our desires. He understands everything. So that's why he is there. You have the 3-in-1. You see, it's the same thing that our laws. Remember, I told you that the federal law, when the Constitution was written, it wasn't written to include us humans, our needs and desires and rights. We had no rights in the Constitution. Only the government had rights. You can't do certain things. Eminent domain, they can take your property, anything they want to take it. You can't say anything. Once it's just payment, they didn't have equity. There was no equity in the law then. Everything was just the law. The law had no sympathy, had no compassion, had no empathy. And those are things that were brought into the law by the Bills of Rights, which gave the judges the understanding that we as humans have rights. And things may happen in the society that although there are laws, we as human beings are not mechanical beings. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have directional issues. We have many attachments to us too. So all those things the Lord take into consideration when you talk about equity. That's what equity is all about. How can fairness be extended to you because of your, handicaps or issues? Can the Lord turn his eyes on it because it's not under the rigidity of the law? No. So that our Lord bring equity in because our laws change, because when you look at human needs, when you look at the calling of Jesus Christ, all those things have an impact on our laws. And that is why the Bill of Rights is so important to being a part of our Constitution, because not only does the state have power over us, the state also got to back away in certain instances to give us rights to breathe. And that's why we have the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. All those amendments ensure our rights. First Amendment, religion, movement, free assembly, free speech. All those things come under Article 1. Then you have, and in American law, you have Article 5. But under Liberian law, that come under Article 1, 2. Against self-incrimination. You can't incriminate yourself. The law against self-incrimination. The police cannot arrest you and force you to give evidence on yourself. They got to do their work. They can't arrest you and force you to tell them everything what you're doing. That's why they give you rights. You have your Miranda rights to protect you. Okay? Even if you're guilty, they don't want the police asking you questions. They want them to ask you questions in the presence of a lawyer who will protect your rights. Okay? He doesn't necessarily have to lie for you, but he'll be there to guide you so whatever punishment you got to do, it doesn't be so severe that they can mitigate your punishment or free you altogether. So that way you need a lawyer there. Okay? Sometimes you commit a crime, but the technicalities of the surrounding elements cannot hold you guilty. And that way you need a lawyer. Maybe other people should be held guilty. But if you don't have a lawyer, they will put it on you. So these are the other reasons why you need a lawyer. You need representation. Okay? But all of that is covered by our Constitution. That ensures that all those things are met. But you got to understand that you got those rights. If you don't understand it, how will you plead for it? You can't plead for it. So this is why we got to change our society and our country. For those of us that love our country and love our people, we got to demonstrate it. We got to demonstrate it. And how do we demonstrate it? We make sure that the leadership of our nation does the right thing for the Liberian people. We are the caregiver and the gatekeepers for the Liberian society. The more we remain silent when we see wrongdoing, or we say that now our tribal people, or we say, hey, I won't put my hand inside, we're hurting our country. All of us are the gatekeepers and the watchers of our society. All of us must stand and speak up if we want our society to change. We got to be the agents of change. We got to be the people that take that drastic decision to be called snitches, to be called backstabbers and all kind of things, because that's how they will call you. When you're standing up for the right thing, when you're standing up to do the right thing, okay? Everybody has not done the right thing before, but there's always a starting point. There's always somewhere where you could start to do the right thing if you have your heart in what you're doing. And that is what makes you a patriot, when you have your heart in what you're doing for Liberia and Liberian people. Are you a patriot? Are you a loyalist? Are you a born Liberian who has given your allegiance to your country to do the right thing and the just thing for all Liberian people, regardless of tribe, sex, religion, or background? Are you a Liberian who will stand up for any Liberian under the law for justice and truth? You got to make that decision. You got to let us know if you're one of those people who will put tribe aside, who will put family aside, who will put friendship and association aside to stand for the truth among Liberians, because it is in our best interest to stand for the truth among each other so that we have peaceful coexistence, law and order among us. That's a challenge. Our country is a small knit society. Plenty of people know each other. And despite that fact, we got to know that we have honest and forthright men among us, especially who will stand up for what is right, despite knowing people, despite being related to people, despite being associated with people. They will stand up and do the right thing because the law of Liberia must be preserved. Aluta, continua. My class is done. But these are the things that make us patriots. When we love our country beyond loving our friends, our relatives, and our associates, and we stand up for the right thing and tell our relative we're sorry about, but it's wrong, and we can't permit it to fly. No, we can't permit it to fly. It's wrong. We need Liberians who can do that. We need Liberians who can look people in the face and say, I'm sorry, man, it's wrong. We can't push it through. It's against the law, and we're not doing it. Pure and simple. Other people do it in other countries. We can do it. We can do it. I learned the hard way too. I came with the same Liberian behavior in this country. And some people told me, no, Chesson, you can't do that. We follow the law here. They told me that too. I'm a Liberian man. I come with the same behavior. Sometimes I don't know it's corrupt. I think it's okay. But people have been there. They could have joined me too. Because other people in the meeting said, oh yeah, that sounds good. But then the boss said, no, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the law. And we cannot break the law to accomplish or bend the law to accomplish what we want to do. We can't do that. So I learned too. There's nothing to be ashamed about. We come from Liberia. We don't know everything. Our system is backward. When we're serving in American society, you don't know something, ask somebody before you get punished. Ask somebody, can I do this? Ask somebody you trust to know. Not just anybody, because some people will lie to you and deceive you. So ask somebody you trust. Can I do this? Can I do that? So you know what you can do and cannot do. Okay? So don't sit blindly on the job too, and you got privileges and you don't know about it. You don't ask nobody. Okay? So if you don't know, ask. Ask. It's better to know than to say, oh, I didn't have the chance to ask. Ask. Okay? Knowledge is power. That's why they say knowledge is power, because when you know something, you know what you can do and what you cannot do. And those are the important things in life. Knowing what you can do, what you cannot do. Okay? And that's why knowledge makes you have power. Because nobody can come tell you. When you enter an area, you know how to conduct yourself. Okay? You know how to conduct yourself and how to get positive results. My class is done. Aluta. Continua. Have a good day, my people. Take care and govern yourselves accordingly. I'll see you tomorrow.